Hey folks, welcome to Economic Observations. My name is Chris and I am your host for today, and thank you so much for watching. Before we get started, if you can hit the subscribe button or give this video a big thumbs up, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, I got my second COVID vaccine today. Another couple of weeks. Hopefully I will have some immunity into this gigantic scientific experiment called COVID and their vaccine. Well, let's get started. Today we're going to talk about unemployment. We're not going to talk about the numbers and we're not going to talk about people getting it. We're going to talk about who pays for it and what is the cost of unemployment for states and the federal government, and how long can this really last. Right now, many of the states' unemployment insurance trust funds are running big deficits. I believe 31 states are running deficits. The economic impact it's going to have for those that pay for the unemployment insurance trust. Let's get started. So every state has their own unemployment insurance account within the federal government. The federal government funds it and the state funds it. Their contributions are based upon their payout. Every state has a different payout. Where I live in Massachusetts, it has the highest payout, so it has the highest rate of unemployment insurance that is paid by the employer. There are 3 states, Jersey, Pennsylvania, and another one, I can't remember, bring that cost down to the employee, so the employee actually pays for their unemployment insurance, but not all states do. Every state has a different rate, and every employer that pays into the unemployment insurance has something called an experience rate. And an experience rate is based on the number of claims that your former workers file in unemployment against you. So the more unemployed you have, the higher rate you're going to pay. So if you have 10 employees and you've had 10 employees for 10 years and nobody has gone on unemployment insurance in the past, you pay a lower rate because you have a lower risk of someone going on unemployment. But there are companies out there that have 20 employees and their people go on unemployment often, like let's say a landscaping business or someone who puts up fences, or companies that are seasonal where they'll hire people for 8 months a year and then for 4 months a year those people collect unemployment. They would pay a much higher unemployment insurance rate. Employers pay it. And what rate do they pay? It's all different and it's all based upon this experience rate. I came across an article talking about Massachusetts small businesses, and we know the governors want to open everything up. This year, everything is opening up. And why do you think everything's opening up? They want employers to hire people back, and they want that unemployment insurance to cover these huge deficits that they have incurred over the past year. We know that unemployment numbers keep going up, up, up. Every week, there's another 700,000 people that are unemployed. It's across all sectors. The employers never got penalized. They never got the increase last year for having an employee who was on unemployment for 6, 8, 10 months. But now they're seeing these bills. In Massachusetts last year, the average employers were paying was 0.58%, just a little bit more than 0.5%. They got their bills for their first quarter. Some small businesses and big businesses alike, any company that has employees, and the rate went up to 9.23%. Some companies went from paying $500 a month to paying $10,000 a month. Or the increase that has occurred to make up for the deficit. I think Massachusetts is in the whole $2.5 billion. California's $7 billion, New York's $3 billion, but you go down the list, red and blue states. Texas is in the red, $3 billion. Florida's, $1.5 billion. They're all in the red. And the only way for them to recoup this money is to start charging the employers again. So of course they need businesses to start. They need the revenue to come in. They can't continue to have the shutdowns. I mean, even Governor Whitmer in Michigan is not shutting down. They need the revenue, but at what cost? I understand people are tired. I understand people want to get back to life. But, you know, as a nonprofit leader, we run a food concession at Gillette Stadium. I am not bringing 12 volunteers into the stadium with a crowd of 60,000 people that you can't control, that have no mask, that are wearing it below their nose, that are coughing, spitting, drinking beer, going to the bath, whatever it may be. I don't want any part of that. I want no part of that. And I do not want to put my volunteers at risk. You got these variants out there. Look at what's going on, folks. But I even had someone contact me today. They were planning to go to Tanzania in August to volunteer with us at our school. I'd love for some people to come back to Tanzania. You know, it brings in a little bit of revenue for us too, but I can't feel good about volunteers going to a country that hasn't reported a case since April 29th of last year. That a country that doesn't even test. You know, if you're in Tanzania and you want to fly abroad, all you have to do is pay $150 and you get a negative certificate. They don't even test you there. There's a lot of shit going on in the world. In New York too, they're looking to take action on unemployment, and some people can see tax increases from $200 to $1,000 per employee. The state has borrowed $8 billion from the federal government. It depleted its UI trust fund, unemployment tax increase for all employers. With thousands of small businesses on the brink of collapse and fighting for survival, the unemployment system cannot be replenished through higher taxes on Main Street businesses. We haven't seen the end of this. And if employers have to pay more, what's going to happen? Employers are going to lay more people off. Businesses are going to close. We are not through this yet. But the states have to recoup some of that money. Their unemployment trust funds never recuperated from the 2008 financial crisis. Hey folks, did you know that Amazon donates 0.5% of all eligible purchases to the nonprofit of your choice? As many of you know, I have a nonprofit called the Tanzania School Foundation, and there's a link below that if you click it, it will sync with your Amazon account, and every purchases you make on Amazon, they will donate 0.5% to us. It doesn't sound like a lot of money, but collectively, if we have a lot of people who indicate the Tanzania School Foundation, it can bring in hundreds of dollars to our nonprofit. We've been hit really hard in 2020 and even in 2021, and I would be really grateful. Thank you so much for making it this far. I appreciate it. I hope you learned something about the unemployment insurance. What do you think? Can small businesses afford to pay these exorbitant rates? If they don't, will we have another unemployment insurance fund ever again? This is real serious stuff. Anyway, I appreciate you. We'll talk again real soon, I promise. Have a great day.